Hi, Exceptional Existence community. Hi. Okay, guys, what are we going to talk about tonight? So tonight, what I want to talk about is the idea of what is your default expectation setting. Now, I know this might sound a little weird, and it's kind of like this crazy idea that I've just kind of recently thought about, probably over the last week. And I thought, I really want to talk to the community about this whole idea of your default expectation setting, because two people have come into my life recently that I've found this interesting trend with. And so, I really wanted to talk about this. So what I mean by that is when somebody says something to you, what is your default expectation? Do you automatically say, oh my God, I've been insulted? And then you try and find insult in whatever they've said to you. And the first port of call is like, ding, ding, ding. It's like an insult meter. How much have I been insulted? They've insulted me, insulted. And then you're like, yes, insulted. And then you make some meaning around that, in the fact that in the way that somebody has insulted you or said something negative to you. Or you might be like, insult meter. Not really. It's okay. But your default expectation setting is to be insulted. Okay. Now, the reason why I say this is because, so this friend of mine, basically, it's like we met at this art event, and it's really, really interesting because every time I say something to her, or anyone says something to her, so generally I don't like to insult people, so I kind of am clear on that, but I notice when people say things to her, then she'll be like, her immediate reaction is like, I've been insulted. Somebody said that because they're trying to make fun of me, or they're trying to say something bad about me, or oh my God, I've definitely been insulted. And it's so interesting how people have that setting where it's just like when people say something to me, it's going to be offensive. And what I'd like to invite you to do is, if this is you, if you think to yourself, when people say something to me or if somebody does something to me, I automatically scan it for how offensive it is, perhaps you need to stop and think, you know what? When someone says something to me, I'm going to scan it for how much love and gratitude and how much of a compliment it is that somebody says something to me, or where whatever they say to me is in my best interest. So every time someone says something to you, you look at that and you think, how is this a nice thing that they've just said to me? How is this a nice thing they've just said to me? And maybe at one point you'll be like, nice thing they've just said to me, nicer meter. And then you're like, definitely an insult. But that's okay, because the majority of the time, really, people don't try to offend you. And you know what, guys? If you are in an environment where you're constantly offended wherever you go, it's time to change your tribe. And God knows I've done a post on that. I've done several posts on that. So I encourage you to go back and look at those posts about your tribe and how that really is so important. But really, what I'd like you to do is, often people actually, those people that have offense as their default expectation setting to be offended, actually find that people are offending them in situations where actually they're not. So this friend of mine, it's like somebody will say something to them and then she'll be like, oh my God, that was so offensive. I'm like, it wasn't even offensive at all. That person just said something really nice to you. And it's like when you have that as your default setting, then immediately you will try and find anything that is offensive. And that is so bad for your environment, your energy, your frequency, and your physical body. Because if you're constantly expecting people to offend you, it is so bad in every way, guys. So what I'd like you to do is, in terms of action items, I'm very passionate about this, as you can tell. What I'd like you to do in terms of action items is really think about this. Really think about perhaps ways where you're like, I really do actually, in everything that people do, I look for how they've offended me or how they've tried to offend me. If that's your default setting, then it's time to change it. And be like, I'm going to actually look for the best in everything. I'm going to expect that with every comment that's made to me and everything that somebody says to me, it's within my best interest and they really want to come from a nice, kind place. Because remember, whatever we expect in life or believe happens to us or believe is our environment, to be surrounded by people that want to offend us or people that want to love us, generally you'll get more of that. So if you think and expect people to offend you as a first port of call, you're probably going to A, attract people that offend you, or B, find offense in things that actually shouldn't be offensive. And really, guys, that again pulls your energy down, pulls your frequency down, affects your physical body, and affects your entire environment and what you attract of more of into your life. So guys, think about what your default setting is. What is your default expectation setting? If it is to be offended or to be hurt or to be betrayed or anything like that, then change it. And if you find that you actually are in an environment where you're constantly betrayed, hurt, offended, change your tribe. But maybe it's you. Maybe it's not your tribe, maybe it's you. And when you start to change your expectation protocol, your expectation default setting, you'll start to realize that you'll actually attract people in your life that want to come to you with love, encouragement, words of compliment, or complimentary words, I should say. You find your environment will change, because when you expect to be elevated, to be supported, to be encouraged, when you expect that, you will get more of that. You will get more of that. When you expect to be offended, you will get more of that. So again, guys, action items, what's your default setting? If you expect people to be kind and caring and loving, then great. Keep going, keep looking for that, because it will come to you, and when you look for it, you'll find more of it. If it's a negative thing, then make sure that, I've got a visitor coming. So if it's a negative thing, then make sure you change your default setting on that and really address it and start to look for the positive versus the negative. And remember, if you are surrounded by a negative, change your tribe. Thank you so much for listening, guys. If you think that this would help anyone, make sure to tag them below or share it with them in a message. And remember to join our community so you'll never miss a post from us again. Thanks so much, guys. See you later. And remember, an exceptional existence is your birthright. So go out and grab it with both hands. Bye, guys.